Hi, I'm Chief Pat Turner. One of the questions I'm always asked is, how does a prospective candidate apply for an entry-level firefighter exam? What are the steps involved in entering the process, as well as how should one ready themselves for this important undertaking? Becoming a firefighter is challenging, and at the same time, it can be a very rewarding career choice. One of the first steps to becoming a firefighter is to apply for an entry-level firefighter exam. The process can vary depending on the jurisdiction or municipality, but applicants should follow some general guidelines to apply for an entry-level firefighter exam. The first step in applying for these exams is to research the requirements for the jurisdiction in which you wish to apply. This can typically be found on the website of the fire department or civil service agency. The requirements may include things such as age, education, and residency. This site will usually contain all of the pertinent information necessary to submit an acceptable application. If the submission process allows supportive documentation, such as your formal resume, make sure these documents look clean, sharp, and properly formatted. All the information you need to design a great-looking resume can be found on my website at chiefsclassroom.org. It's important to ensure that you understand and meet all of the requirements before applying, as failure to meet any of the requirements can disqualify you from the process. Once you have determined that you meet the requirements, the next step is to submit an application. Applications can typically be found on the website of the fire department or civil service agency. The application will typically ask for basic information such as your name, contact information, education, and work experience. Again, it's important to provide accurate and complete information on the application, as any discrepancies or omissions can disqualify you from the process. I've always told my students that accuracy and especially consistency are vitally important when completing firefighter employment applications. When you first begin to test the waters of the entry-level firefighter exam process, make a detailed data sheet for yourself that contains all of the pertinent information that you plan to submit with applications for the various departments you're interested in. Let me explain. At any given time, you could have several applications being processed and evaluated by the reference department or jurisdiction. When it's time to begin the testing process, and especially when you're sitting in front of the oral board panel, there's nothing more embarrassing and defeating than to be unclear about what you may have submitted on your application. If you consistently submit the same information on your applications, the aggravation and fear of the unknown won't be an issue. This is especially important when designing and submitting your formal resume. Be truthful with your information, commit it to memory, and always be ready to explain, and in some cases, defend it when participating in the exam process. Once the application has been processed, if it meets all of the required criteria, the applicant will usually be invited to participate in a written examination. The written exam typically covers subjects such as mathematics, reading, comprehension, and problem solving. Now, depending on the jurisdiction that's sponsoring the exam, one of two things will usually take place after the written exam. One option utilizes the pass-fail feature. Whether or not the candidate moves on in the testing process is determined by the score achieved on the written. If the minimum passing score is reached, the candidate moves on to the next phase. If he or she fails to achieve that minimum score, they are excluded from the remainder of the exam process. Other jurisdictions may allow the candidate to actively participate in the entire hiring process, and the candidate's status will then be dictated by their composite score from all portions of the exam process. Either way, at this point in the process, most jurisdictions will require a physical ability exam, which tests the physical fitness of the applicants. It's important to prepare for both the written exam and physical ability exam concurrently. Should you successfully pass the written exam and move forward in the process, the physical ability exam could follow closely behind it. So it's essential that you prepare for both events early on. There's a complete guide for preparation to be successful in the physical ability exam on my website at chiefsclassroom.org. Upon successful completion of the written exam and physical ability exam, the candidate will usually be invited to participate in an oral interview. The oral interview typically involves a panel of firefighters or fire department officials asking questions about your qualifications, experience, and motivation for becoming a firefighter. It's important to prepare for the oral interview by researching the fire department and preparing answers to potential questions. There's an awesome guide that provides all you'll need to be successful in the oral board exam on my website at chiefsclassroom.org. After completing the oral interview, successful applicants will be placed on an eligibility list. The eligibility list ranks all successful applicants based on their scores on the written exam, physical ability exam, and the oral board exam. When a fire department has a vacancy, they'll select candidates from the eligibility list to participate in further testing and interviews, including a medical exam and background check. In conclusion, applying for an entry-level firefighter exam requires research, preparation, and attention to detail. It's important to ensure that you meet all of the requirements before applying and to provide accurate and complete information on the application. Preparing for the written exam, the physical ability exam, and the oral board exam can help increase your chances of success. If you're successful in these areas, you will be placed on an eligibility list and considered for further testing and interviews. Becoming a firefighter requires dedication and hard work, but it can be a rewarding career choice for those who are up to the challenge. As I've said in the various categories we've discussed, detailed exam preparation information is available in the courses on my website at chiefsclassroom.org. I invite you to take a look at what's available for you, the prospective firefighter applicant. I wish you well in your endeavors as you seek a firefighter badge. Take care.